right, this is the last drill in the 3X beginner drills. Now this drill is called the sled. I've used this drill for a long time. I actually used it even before I developed 3X pitching. Because you can see it's really where all this came from. It's the concept behind the explosive pitcher. This drill I battled with. I wanted to put it in my advanced drills, but I decided to put it into my beginner drills because of one thing, which is the force vector. I get a lot of questions about the force vector. You get a lot of questions about how to coach it, because once they learn it, they realize how critical it is to explosive pitching. So this is really a drill that is going to help you understand it and implement it and develop the motor coordination around it. Okay, so conventional wisdom says that we get into this balanced position, but you'll find that hard throwers, most hard throwers, they really don't sit there at all. You never really see them lift and then go. They're usually moving into their leg lift, so they really hold the balance up. So this goes against that conventional wisdom of the balanced position, because it believes that explosive pitchers, just like sprinters, are from start are trying to get going as quickly as they can. And the critical point is the force vector. The critical component is the force vector. The force vector is not one of my 6 components, because to me it's a part of the load position, which is one of my components or parts of the delivery. And in the load position, we want to be loaded, have some flexion in our drive leg, still closed off our shoulders, and it's the point of launch. But we don't want to, from that position, just have squatted into that position strictly because of the force vector. And the force vector, I've said before, is that ankle to knee. Now right now, my ankle to knee is vertical. So if I triple extend, I'm going up. Now for a pitcher, we never want to go up. We want to go to the target, so we have to get that force vector in line with what I call our front hip and then towards the target. Once we do that, then if we can do that in the load position, then our next component is triple extension, hip-shoulder separation, and that's the point of launch. So for us to get to our launch, which some pitchers never get to, most young pitchers never get to, and that's why they don't throw hard, and that's why this program will really help you throw hard, is because it shows you how to get to your load position with your force vector line, so then we can triple extend before front push track. All right, so basically, that would be here. And the reason force vector is not the load, not in replace of the load component, because there's a lot of other things we have to do as well. Closing off in the load position is very important as well, because our force vector can be in line and we can be loaded or have some flexion on drive leg, but if our shoulders and lift legs are open, we can't drive, we can't launch. So that's why it's just the load position, and the force vector is a part of that position. So the force vector, like I said, at the load position, we would want, that's why I like to start, when you start in the stretch, I like to start with that knee inside the foot. So therefore, our force vector is already starting to get in line. And then at the leg lift, at that point, we want to make sure that right when we start to bring that lift leg down, that our force vector, we're loading on that drive leg, and our force vector starts pushing our hips out. And that's what this drill is going to help do. Because if you're using a sled, which I'm actually using a sled here, you should be able to put enough weight on that sled. It's basically a sled where I can put heavy weights on it. And it could actually probably hold me in that position, so I could really feel my force vector hold my load position. Now, if you don't have a sled, you can also use a harness, maybe a weight belt and resistance tubing, and have a partner hold you. And if they want to hold you in that position, they can just not let you go in that position, so you can sit in the load and really feel that force vector get in line. So use this sled at the beginner level to really understand and train the force vector into the load. So that's the purpose of it when you get it. Also on top of that, after you get good at getting into that low position, if you maybe have to just do some where you just lift and just fall into it, you can feel your force vector lining up. After you do that a few times, then to actually perform the drill correctly, you want to hit that load and then triple extend and feel that hip to shoulder separation. That's pretty much the drill here. So you can see you just want to simulate the stretch, lift, load, and triple extend before you land, and throw your arms up and try to catch yourself in that position with your feet straight, full stride, hips open, shoulders closed. And that's the sled. So that's pretty much how the drill works. So lift, load, and drive, and hold. And try to get triple extension before you land. So this one's a lot more complex. That's why I wanted to put it into the advanced drills, but it's so effective in training the force vector, which is something that needs to be learned from the beginning. All right, so like I said, get good at just getting your force vector in line. All right, and then you can start finishing the drill with moving into triple extension and hip to shoulder separation. Good, so I can feel that force vector in my knee getting in line, which is allowing me to really get that good triple extension before front push run. It's hard, specifically when you do it with a heavy sled like this. I mean, we put a good amount of weight on here, and it really helps learn the drive or the stride phase, or how to deal with power in the stride phase of the pitching delivery. But like I said, if you don't have that, just use the tubing and help your partner kind of add or apply the resistance for you so you can move through the sled. All right, so that's it for the beginner drills. Now we're going to move into the beginner training portion of the beginner guide for 3X pitching, and I hope that gets you going. Now you got the guide, the book that you can read the drills. You actually now watch me coach the drills. If you need even more, you're welcome to perform them. Shoot some videos, send it to me for analysis, or post on the forums. You can post that video on the forums, or post your comments on the forum, or any questions, or send me emails. Whatever we got to do to get you performing these correctly and help you move it on to the next level, which is the ace pitcher handbook. All right, so moving on to the training program.